think ni vizuri sana lakini sana umejiingiza kwa noma jo because vile umebring up story ya carbon credits umenikumbusha ulicheki post ulicheki post ya Lingugi.
No, I did not see it, but let me see.
Yes, so Lingugi had posted this and you can just read like
silently.
Yes,
Can we get
you can
into
read loudly if you want. And you can see, and this is the reason why I was telling you, there are so many great initiatives that are being done by the government, but zinafanywa in a certain level that's just disheartening, and it's sad, and that's basically what your post ya Lingugi ilikuwa inabonga juu yake.
So the people said no.
Yes, so I can read it for people alafu wewe mwenyewe utaniambia kwa
sasa uone
why
context.
Hauna context but you can understand why it's a great initiative. Hiyo kitu uko naongea but the way it's being done I'm sure the government is not paying $2. So kwa sawa juu ilikuwa ni Soil for the Future Africa wants to pay these natives $2 per year for an acre in the name of carbon credits through a 40-year lease. The natives have said no. We traveled all the way to Oldonyonyoike for our first independent public participation and this is how it went down. So I'm sure gava hamlipi $2 lakini ule msemepatia kwa ground analipisha $2 and this is yani anapay $2 and this is why I have a problem with this. Ile nasemaga like so many great initiatives but they are never done for the people. They are done for individuals to benefit and that's why like hapa ni big up to Lingugi jo hii hata alafu pia wewe big up kwako kwa kujiingiza tu kwa shida yote.
Hii nini hii story ya carbon credits umeni catch flat footed. We need to have a deeper conversation about it. I don't know what Lingugi is on about. I don't know who Soil for the Future is or what that $2 conversation is, but we're one of the first countries on the continent that is on a pathway to monetization for carbon credits. That is progress unto itself. And that's why I'm trying to get us to a place. And I am very guilty of this. In fact, I've been on many conversations where people say, like you, that I'm a sympathizer.
Yes.
Where else I work for government, what I perhaps have that most young people do not have is the advantage of information. Yes. And that's what the National Youth Council is trying to do through the WAZO program, to communicate what the opportunities are for young people, particularly in government and in other spaces. Now, in this carbon credit conversation, we perhaps need to understand, is Soil the Future coming individually or are they coming as part of a government agency? Because of our constitution, our very progressive constitution, if they're coming as a private entity, that's why they must do public participation so they can get social license to operate. That's why the conversation of $2 can end up in no, because you have a government that has frameworks first and foremost. You have a government that has prioritized climate resilience and carbon credits and trade in the green economy as an opportunity. And that's why those people can say no and have the opportunity to maybe negotiate for, I don't know, $10, $20, $30, $100. Who knows? But we must acknowledge the progress that is being made. This is a report. But is our government prioritizing climate resilience? Yes. Are we investing in opening up new markets in the green economy? Yes.
Okay. Awera.
Yes. By my second name.
Yeah. So let's keep it African. If you hear that someone has offered Kenyans $2 per year, in what world is that okay? The fact that as the government unafaa kusema that huyo mtu hata unafaa kunauliza wanaonyang'anywa license
but not all carbon credits
$2 per year. So for $2 per year they're not supposed to use this acre of land, even if this is the worst acre of land. He's anajua you're not the one who came up with this, but I'm just trying to show you now as an educated Kenyan to another educated Kenyan.
This is true.
$2 per year, $2 per month, $2 per day. It's all bullshit. $2 per day is bullshit. Now let's try and imagine $2 per year. But $2 per day we can try and reason it out and be like, you know what, $760, maybe that's around 90k. In 5 years takuwa na around 500k. Maybe angeuza hii land angepata the same. But at the end of all these they'll still have their land. We can try and justify that per day. Per month we can never justify. So you understand why nakwambia like utapata kuna watu kwa gava wale they are the middlemen between hawa watu na hawa watu, but it's should always be the government's duty to protect.
And it is the government's
Nyonge.
duty to protect. And that's why I'm saying let us establish context. Is Soil for the Future buying those carbon credits in their individual capacity? Are they buying them as part of a government scheme? It is because the government is protecting our constitutional right to have public participation that those citizens of all Donyolo Rock can say no. And thirdly, it is because our government has prioritized the green economy as an opportunity that this conversation can even be had. In African economies where there are no frameworks, let me not cite any country out of respect for diplomacy. In countries where there are no frameworks whatsoever for the green economy to even be explored, I don't know what is it. But in a country like Kenya where, like you said, we are educated, we are progressive, and we have a government, this government with a better plan that has prioritized climate resilience, the green economy as an opportunity area for our citizens to tap into. Isn't that progress unto itself? And before we say $2 is nothing, let's unpack the context. Let's find out, for starters, by having the guys for Climate Works over, on this very useful podcast. I'm plugging all my colleagues.
Gloria says wanachoma picha.
I'm sorry.
Tell me, in what context would $2 per year make sense?
I'm not saying I have not
tell
said
me this as a nini. So you understand there's
as
no
a business
context.
person, there's no context in which
Yes.
the $2 conversation can be had and be acceptable. That's let me be on the record.
$2 per day,
There
we
is
can argue
nowhere
about that.
where $2 per annum for an acre of land on the continent of Africa is acceptable. It's completely unacceptable. But I am saying on the converse, the only reason why we can have that conversation and say no is because this government has opened up the market in the green economy. Now, because our public participation right is protected, that's why these citizens of Kenya can say no. And that's why we can have larger, more interesting, bigger conversations about taking that $2 from $2 to what? What would be enough? $2,000 per annum?
Yes.
Possibly.
For an acre of land. Or even, vile tu ngasema like $1,000 because I still own the land after all this.
Yes.
And I should also be given like kama wanaichukua for a certain period naweza kuwa wanapay zingine upfront so that I can be able to do something else
because
with
of our
them.
capacity.
And as my land still stays with me. You understand?
I agree with you.
So
and because
we
we're
need
developing
to
those frameworks, this and many other negotiations around the climate opportunity and the green economy opportunity will happen. And when we start trading carbon credits at a large scale, I hope that those citizens will directly benefit from that.
But unachiki saizi vile mko na shida akina nani anaitwa nani akina Lin Ngugi wanafanya public participation mbele ya gava.
That's why I've said let us unpack Soil for the Future. I do not know, there's nothing stopping a company, carbon credits is private trade.
Yes.
People get licensed, so there's a very high chance they came privately to try and seek opportunity.
Let's say
I don't know what the context is.
Let's
for the
say
record.
this document comes across your desk. Assume wewe ni Nelson Amenya. So this document comes across your desk and you see these Kenyans have signed a deal $2 per year. Would you just let it go? Ama the next time uko na president amwambia enyewe we need to look at these people like hii ni kunyanyaswa ile si poa. Unaelewa? That's what na maanisha nayo like kuna ile kunyanyaswa ile it makes no sense. $2 per year
is unacceptable.
That's less than a shilling per day. A shilling. Nakumbuka shilingi vile ni hata wazungu semaga African survive on $1 a day. That's what they say.
Well, revised to $2 a day.
$2 a day. You see?
WBG may revise. So that is even below the global standard. And yes, that sum is low. Let's focus. I'm trying to really get us to the conversation around the opening up of the opportunity and the fact that they can say no and that negotiation can stop.
Okay.
Because what I love social media, I'm a big fan of mtandao. But the unfortunate thing with the characters that we have to use is that we lack context.
Yeah,
and the conversation is always...
$2 per year, you hakuna context.
Who is Soil for the Future? How did they come into the country? In what capacity are they negotiating? Do they have any contracts with the government of Kenya? Are they... Like, there are so many questions we could ask to fully unpack that conversation before we judge and conclude. And what mechanisms...
But can we judge the $2 a year?
Yes, that we agree on.
Okay,
you cannot pay $2 a year for an acre.
Yes.
That we're on the same page on.
Okay.
But there is more to that conversation that we don't know. But what I am trying, the bottom line for me, is that the only reason why we can have this conversation is because as a country we are tapping into the green economy. And why are we tapping into it? Because we have prioritized climate opportunities, climate resilience, and have put in place policies
Have we actually prioritized it, ama we are taking advantage of countries that are too industrialized, like in the UAEs, who need us to help them with carbon credits? Sisi carbon credits inatunuliwa na kina Emirates,
Is it not the
Etihad, Qatar Airways.
There's
These
the
are the
climate
ones.
change. Is it the climate change amendment of 2023 that made carbon markets possible? That's a delicate question. Are we taking advantage? No. Can I ask you a question? Say there was the exploitation of minerals. There was oil in the Republic of Kenya, and the government of X Republic wanted to come and, or the private company X, Soil for the Future X, wanted to come and exploit oil. Would that transaction be feasible?
What do you mean?
Could they come and acquire a license and take that oil out and sell it?
Yes.
It's the same trade. We're simply taking advantage of the fact that we have beautiful forest cover, and we're monetizing it to the value and the benefit of our people.
Yes, $2 a year.
That $2, we're on the same page. That is unacceptable for an acre of land. It's unacceptable. That's 240 bob per annum. That is unacceptable. There's no question about that.
Okay. That's,
but there's a lot about that story we don't know. Let's also agree on that.
That
is all you know. You don't even know who
$2 a year.
Future ni nani.
Nikisikia $2 a year, what I think about is someone who's dehumanized watu mpaka na feel like they don't need any finance. They are going to sign these leases which will be maybe at least 10 years because
I agree
it's
with
going
you.
to be ridiculous. So after 10 years niaje kuchukua mbao.
That story makes no sense. But can we find out if perhaps after that maybe the ministry intervened? That's why I'm saying we have no context. Maybe the Carbon Credits Office took up the conversation after it was posted on X.
Okay,
can we have some optimism?
I'm going to actually watch the video ya
Lingugi.
I only had hapo hiyo part ya kwanza but nichekitio $2 a year and I was like,
but you see, you're making my point for me, eh?
What?
My point being,
there's no world where $2 a year makes sense.
I am on the same page.
Yes, so but I don't even need more. My point ni nyahunyo tu nataka kwenda nayo kwa hiyo ofisi ya sofa. Wanaitwa sofa. Hiyo Soil for Africa.
Soil for Africa. Wao wakute waulize nini wanafanya.
Yeah, jo, hawezi patia watu $2 a year.
I agree with you.
Even if you are robbing watu, jo, rob na
I agree with you with some respect for the human dignity. I agree with you 110%.
Yeah. So uko US na unatry kutuma do Kenya, baki umetumia LemFi. Na reason ya kutumia LemFi ni LemFi inakupatia the highest exchange rates. Alafu apart from that, juu ya LemFi unabaki umetuma $8,000 in one day. Ama unaweza tuma $16,000 in 1 week. Ama unaweza tuma $32,000 in 1 month. Hiyo ni up to 4 million shillings in 1 month. Na ni simple kabisa. LemFi app unaweza baki umepata kwa App Store na pia unaweza ipata kwa Google Play. Another reason ya kusign up kwa LemFi ni wewe ni Iko Nini fan. Na umekuwa ukishindwa nizaje support Iko Nini. Naweza support aje ase. Kuna vile saizi jo mfuko ni mbaya. Lakini need kutumia mother dose, so siwezi tumia Iko Nini chochote. Kuna a very easy way ili unaweza kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Support your family na pia support Iko Nini. Na unafanyaje hivyo? Unabaki umesign up to LemFi using our QR code. Baki umescan QR code. Kama si hivyo, ubaki umetumia the link ile tumeseti kwa description. Na usisahau the first $100 ile utatuma, wewe mwenyewe utapata $20 cashback. Alafu sisi juu tumekurefer, pia sisi tutapata $20. Unacheki, utakuwa umesupport IKONINI ndio tuendelee kukupatia the conversations that you like. Na pia kitu inabamba kabisa ni saizi kuna vile LemFi ina support both M-Pesa paybill numbers na till numbers. Inamaanisha unabaki umelipia madhako internet ukiwa majuu. Unaweza mlipia stima bado ukiwa majuu. Unaweza make sure that madhako iko both connected na pia keja yake iko lit up. Na hiyo ni courtesy of LemFi. LemFi, international payments for everyone. IKONINI.